Well, as the weekend come to a close, that doesn't mean we end things here. If you guys are big fans of the Japanese wrestling scene, well, you're just in luck. You guys are getting a treat for that because we're going to cover three reviews from that. The first one is, of course, is from Stardom in Hamamatsu. The main event features, of course, the Artist of Stardom Championship. The real question is, can Tam Nakano and, of course, his newly powered trio team with Sarunui and Natsupoi are able to defeat Maika, Mina Shiraka, who's a former Cosmic Angel, and of course Cena? Well, we're just gonna have to find out for ourselves. And then of course we move on with New Japan Pro Wrestling as we continue with day 10 of the G1 Climax. We're only gonna focus on B block matches only, so we will see how things are progressing. Now, for our final review, as G1 is happening as we speak, Pro Wrestling Noah, the rival company to New Japan Pro Wrestling. In fact, Noah has begun their round robin tournament. We're talking about, of course, the N-1 victory. Now, I did mention we are expected to have, of course, 4 round robin tournaments in a matter of in 3 months. Of course, we have, of course, the right now the G1, then the N1 victory, and then of course 5-star Grand Prix, and then finally the Dream Star Grand Prix real soon. But let's focus on what we can do. And of course, we cap up our episode with some news updates to give you guys updates what's been happening in the world of pro wrestling, such as what events the promotions are throwing out, who's booked, what matches are set, and including some developments that are happening in the world of pro wrestling as we speak. So, let's get ready for another episode of the Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Hey everyone, welcome to the Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, TNA, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J-Rod here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. This is a channel where we do a lot of pro wrestling reviews from various promotions, not only here in the United States, but also in Japan, Mexico, Canada, Europe, the UK, anywhere in the world where pro wrestling is not as big, but it continues to grow. We also, of course, do discussion videos, talk about various topics such as the wrestlers themselves, the promotions, factions, storylines, whatever we want to talk about. We also, of course, do more news updates. If certain information was not put on this episode, we can put it either on the next episode or on a separate video by itself. We also, of course, do real-time news updates to keep you guys on alert if something has happened in the world of pro wrestling that needs to be addressed ASAP. We also do, of course, the Unagi Sayaka Watch and various other cool things as well. So if you like what you see, please subscribe to us. So click on that subscribe button. You'll be getting a lot of daily reviews and other cool wrestling content as well. But if you like this episode, please give us a like on the like button or a nice comment in the description down below. Now, all introductions have set aside, it's hammer time. So I believe it's time to begin with our very first review for our Japanese wrestling episode. So let's begin with Stardom. Okay, Stardom and Hamamatsu, and I think this could be the last show before we start the 5-star Grand Prix. So as I said before, our main event is the Artist Championships. It's between EXV and the Cosmic Angels, but we'll get to that in a bit. So let's begin with our very first match. Our first match, of course, is the newly formed faction known as Neo Genesis, consisting of Miyu Amasaki, Azumi, and Starlight Kid, taking on Hate, consistent of Raka, Sayakami Tani, and Atsukutora. Now, of course, it's no secret that all 3 members of Neo Justice have a beef against Hate. Don't forget, Azumi and Miyu Amasaki were expelled from Queen's Quest, but they had to witness Kamitani not only siding with Natsuko Tora, but also dissolving Queen's Quest and Oedo Tai at the same time. And Starlight Kid hasn't forgotten how she was kicked out of the group because of it. The one person that, of course, she hasn't forgotten was Raka, who was her tag partner at the time. But of course, everybody in Neo Genesis has a vendetta. But this is a side we see of Kamitani showing what cocky, arrogant she can be. Of course, she had this match won on Amasaki easily when she applied that flying spinning kick, but she decided to apply the Star Crusher. I'm not sure if she renamed it, but that's exactly what she used. And that allowed her and her Hate to pick up the win, but I'm sure. But also in the post match comments, Starlight Kid has one thing in mind: is to get her hands on Raka for what she did to her back in April. So we will see what happens until then. Our next match, of course, we have Rian versus Waka, and of course, versus Momo Kogo. Now, of course, Waka, as you know, is disappointed that she did not make the cut to go to the 5-star Grand Prix. That spot has been taken now by Yuna Mizumori, but it doesn't mean that, she has to rack up wins in order to succeed even further. We know Momo had tried that before too, but it had no luck. But however, of course, the X factor you would have assumed in this type of match is Rian, who is currently the only person in the Stardom roster without any affiliation with any of the other units. So that sets it up right there. But however, this match ended thanks to Waka when she pinned the Mahastral onto Rian, winning the match. However, Momo and Rian are not too keen in the way Waka picked up the win. Recently, people are calling her stingy, the way she's been winning the matches. And of course, she does not like it. None of the rookies are in fact impressed, or the much least experienced wrestlers are impressed either. So, I don't know what's going on there, but even though she may be fun and lovable, but amongst her own peers, sorry, nobody does. So, our next match, we have the other members of the Cosmic Angels, consisting of Sayaka Kurara, Aya Sakura, and Yuna Mizumori. They take on star members Saya Ida, Hanan, and Azuki. Now, of course, doesn't change anything, but we do know, those who know this or not, Azuki and Yuna Mizumori will meet up in the 5-star Grand Prix, and I believe they are in the same block. So that is the significance right there. But however, it was Azuki who sent the message directly to Mizumori when she applied the senton bomb onto Sakura, just like that. So we will see how those two will meet up when they clash. So we'll stand by on that. Now, our next match, we have, of course, former tag champions and, of course, members of Neo Genesis, Crazy Star, consisting of Suzuki and Meisira. They take on star members Koguma and Mayu Iwatani. So, of course, many people would think this is going to be an interesting match. But, however, the one person that Crazy Stars need to be more concerned about is Koguma. Of course, Koguma is silly. She likes to play games. But, of course, Crazy Star, they're not here to play games. They're here to win. And that's exactly what they did. It was Mei Seta who applied the Rolling Star onto Koguma, winning the match. I'm sure Koguma will never forget this. I'm sure she will love nothing more to get a measure of revenge against her. But that's going to be another time. But I'm not 200% sure if they're on the same block. But we'll see. We'll find out. Now, our next match, we have Hate, consistent of Fukigen Death, Rina, Konami, Tekla, and Momo Watanabe, taking on Lady C, Hina, and the Ladies of God's Eye, consistent of Rana Yagami, Saki Kashima, and Shuri. Now, there is, of course, the factor is that there's still feud going on towards Konami. Don't forget, not too long ago, before the Rendezvous shows, Konami betrayed Shuri, and of course saying that she never did quit Oedo Tai, and now that Oedo Tai is disbanded and a new form unit was made, it made perfect sense. But however, I did not anticipate this one. Saki Kashima was the one who picked up the win by applying the Kishikase on Konami. I'm sure this was her way of getting a little measure of revenge for Shuri for what happened to her. As you know, Saki Kashima has proven her loyalty towards her ever since joining God's Eye. And who could forget, if you guys remember, Kashima was kicked out of Oedo Tai because, they think she was a part of a crack. But of course, Kashima even made it clear when it comes to hate, she's not running away from them one way or the other. But however, that does not end there. In the post match promo, we did see, of course, Hina stakes her claim that she will face her sister, but her sister Rina will say that she'll put the future belt on the line at the finals of the 5-star Grand Prix. But the real question does tell: will Rina finally break her sister's record, or will Hina put an end to that? And of course, it ends in the same record. Well, we will see until we get there. And then, of course, Hina and Lady C made it clear that they will fully join God's Eye. But however, Kashima told her that she has to carry Kashima's luggage. She doesn't like Lady C for some odd reason, but she is fond of Hina. That's very clear. But we'll talk more about that at another time. Now, our main event is the Artist Championships. Cosmic Angels, consistent of Sairyu Noi, Natsupoi, and Tam Nakano, versus EXV, consistent of Xena, Mina Shirakawa, and of course, Maika. Now, many people have talked about this before. Those who know this or not, Mina Shirakawa has lost a lot since she left Cosmic Angels back last year, I believe, in March, somewhere around there, or February, one of the two. If you guys remember, it was Tam Nakano who defeated her for the white belt to become double champion. And then, of course, it was Natsupoi and Sarunoi who defeated her and Mariah May for the Goddesses belts. And now history is happening again. So Mina believes that she could break the curse. Of course, you see strong wrestlers in her side with Maika and Xena, but you have, of course, a very strong, powerful friendship between Tam, Sayuri, and of course Natsupoi. That's always been the clear case. But, however, it was Tam Nakano who picked up the win when she applied this violet screwdriver onto Xena to win the belt. But the good thing is, Mina was not the one who actually took the pin, but she took this loss to heart, realizing she could never beat the Cosmic Angels. People would have thought it was the end of them when Mina left, but it was Sairyu Noi who saved them when she appeared last year. But of course, Mina made it clear also to verify that she's not part of the 5-star Grand Prix, that she will be in August in America, most likely making appearances in AEW. She said that she wants to be the one to spread the Stardom world to the people because she feels EXV can lead it. She says she'll come back strong and get her revenge on Tam and the Cosmic Angels. But the real question is, will she? Well, we'll see. But as soon as it was over, of course, they were doing a promo until they were viciously attacked by Hate. Now, Hate, as you all know, their primary target are wrestlers who look like idols. Not to mention, Natsuko Tora hasn't forgotten that last year Tam Nakano hurt her knee last year, and she decided to injure it. But what makes it worse, they decided to humiliate Tam even worse by cutting her hair, allowing them to do whatever they want. Now, we do know that Konami said that the Hate are determined to win all belts. I wouldn't be surprised if they issued a challenge. But we do know Tam Nakano, along with Mina and Unagi, they have the most consecutive victories as a trios. If you guys remember, they have about 7. That's the least amount. But the question you would ask yourselves, can Sairyu Noi, Natsupoi, and Tam can outdo that record? I would like to see it if they can. I think many of you would see that. But until then, we'll see what happens. I'm still also hopefully hearing how Tam Nakano is going to be, because from what I'm hearing, she's not really, she's already down after what happened with that humiliation with her. Even the other members, Kurara and Sakura and Yuna were not pleased, but they felt bad for what Tam went through. But we'll see what happens. But right now, we'll end things right here with Stardom and move on with New Japan. Okay, so as we continue, we are now in day 10 of New Japan Pro Wrestling's G1 Climax. Now, I don't know how far along we are, but I would like to think maybe, just maybe, we are halfway through. But we'll just wait and see. But for today, we're going to focus only on B block matches only. So let's begin with our very first one. We have Boltin Oleg taking on the leader of the Bullet Club War Dogs, who I like to call the big crybaby because he complains a lot. So, as you know, David Finlay had some very good successful matches, but however, he is determined to win this tournament, and that's exactly. Now, however, David Finlay tried to apply the Kamikaze, which is the signature move that Boltin Oleg has been using since, winning the New Japan, the never open weight six-man tag team titles. That's something we have been seeing, but however, that did not work in Finlay's favor, and neither did, of course, for Boltin Oleg, but it was, of course, Finlay with the overkill that made the deal and giving him his next 2 points. So currently he is now with the top points of 8. And I think that Belize is, what, 4 wins and 2 losses, I believe. Oh yeah, and I failed to mention that loudmouth prick Gabe Kidd is right there watching, laughing his butt off, even happy as a little child, in his big diapers, happy that his boy and the boss actually won. But we'll see. Now, as for Boltin Oleg, he only has 4 points. That means he only has 2 wins. So we'll see how far we progress with him. Next up, we have Yuya Uemura versus El Phantasmo. Now, of course, El Phantasmo has not started out very well since the start of this tournament. As for Uemura, he has picked up some good wins. I mean, he did pin the boss of the War Dogs, David Finlay, and I did mention he does have an opportunity to cash in a shot of the IWGP Global Championship. But we will see. I'm going to presume he could actually challenge Finlay for that until then. But I think many people would have assumed that Uemura would have won this match, but no. It was, of course, El Phantasmo with the Kuma roll, and just like that, he picked up his next 2 points. He has the total of 4. Now, he's still at the bottom as we speak, but I'm not sure if he'll be able to catch up. As for Uemura, he only has 6. So basically, he can still be alive for a while, but we just don't know how far. But we'll see when we progress even further. Now, our next match, this is a battle between 2 teammates, the battle of 2 United Empire members into a showdown. We're talking about the current never openweight champion, Henare, and the current New Japan World Television Champion, Jeff Cobb. So you know that these guys are not going to hold back. Even if they are teammates, they know they cannot hold anything back. I'm sure that creep, Gabe Kidd, who's watching this, he doesn't care who walks out if one of them is able to put away the other. He'll probably have a laugh at it up his ass, as always. But I was impressed by this match, even though I did state that they didn't hold back. That's exactly what happened. But it was Jeff Cobb who picked up the win when he applied the Tour of the Islands, giving him the win. Now, as I mentioned before, Henare is the never openweight champion. Could Jeff Cobb challenge him? I mean, it is a possibility. It's not uncommon for teammates to challenge each other for the belts. We've seen that before. But yes, we'll see what happens until then. But as we speak, Jeff Cobb right now is tied with Finlay with 8 points. As for Henare, 6. So you probably would say that somehow Jeff Cobb and Finlay, they might have to clash who will break away from this record. So we'll see about that. Next match, we have Konosuke Takeshita taking on Hiroki Goto. I thought this match was going to be interesting because, people have talked about, I know Gabe Kidd, as I mentioned before watching this, he does not like Takeshita because people are calling Takeshita the future of pro wrestling. Gabe Kidd, he's nothing, he believes that he's full of crap, that he's not because he ain't nothing. I mean, Takeshita is a phenomenal wrestler. I think many of you would agree. But I'm hoping that Takeshita get his hands on Gabe Kidd to prove him wrong. But, however, I have to say it was a very impressive match with Hiroki Goto, who is the only person elderly, one of the few people elderly in this match that was able to keep up to the level of Takeshita, but it was Goto who picked up a fantastic win, and just like that, he won his next 2 points. So they're both tied at 6. Now, during a post-match comment, Goto said that if Takeshita is planning to come back to New Japan, he's offering him to join Chaos. Now, as you know, Chaos has not been in a good state ever since Okada left. It's just him, Yoshihashi, Toru Yano, Tomohiro Ishii. I mean, he would be a perfect fit, but he kind of will resemble a little bit of Okada, how young he is. But we'll see how that goes with him. Now, our main event, we have two guys who actually know each other too well during their young lion days. No, I'm not talking about Narita and Umino. We're talking about Tsuji and Narita. Those two were in the same class. Now, of course, Narita, he's the biggest piece of garbage on the planet ever since joining those dickwads, the House of Torture. You probably would think, nah, he's going to do the same thing. Of course, he was going to freaking use tactics. I mean, look, this is what he did. He actually slammed Tsuji to the ref. No surprise there, in order to him to use the push-up bar. But it failed. And then he tried a low blow. Failed. But Tsuji, of course, had one course of action to put his sorry ass away, and that is, of course, the Gene Blaster. I'm sure Narita is crying like a little girl that he lost. Well, Tsuji gets the last laugh on this one. So we'll see. But of course, Gabe Kidd does not like Tsuji. He thinks he's also another piece of garbage that he is not the real future. But we'll see what happens because a lot of people praise him. So I think that's pretty much it with G1. So let's move on with Pro Wrestling Noah. Okay, our final review. Pro Wrestling Noah. This year's round robin tournament. The N-1 victory. Now, some of you may question, is this similar to the G1? The answer to that, yes. They do the same thing, 2 points if you win, 0 points if you actually lose, and of course, time limit draw at 1 point each, and of course, divided in 2 blocks, A block and B block. So we have that. Now, this year, it's a little different. They added some interesting developments. We do have, of course, 2 NXT talent who will be making their debut. As you know, Pro Wrestling Noah the president is straightening relationships with WWE, so they brought in Tavion Heights and Josh Briggs. But however, one of the competitors they brought in from another company, and that is someone that, of course, from this company that Noah has relationships in the past, and that is Dragon Gate, and they brought in Luis Montes. So basically, now some of you who are big fans of Dragon Gate, you ask yourself, isn't it Luis Monte a junior heavyweight competitor? Yes, we have seen competitors. They are like in the borderline between junior and heavyweight. So I'm going to presume that, of course, Luis Monte, he is in that type of person who's in that state as we speak. But we'll see how it is. Now, there are 2 matches that they added, but they're not part of the N1 victory tournament. But they just throw them to give breaks. But I'm not going to do those, so I apologize to those if you were looking forward to those. If not, I want to focus more on tournament matches only. Now, as I said, we have 2 blocks, A and B block. Now, first starting out with the A block, we have Alpha Wolf versus Hijo de Dr. Wagner Jr. 2 Mexicans faces off. Now, some of you who know this, Alpha Wolf, on the other hand, he's a junior heavyweight competitor, but it's no secret he has challenged for the GHC Heavyweight Tag Team Champions with he and his brothers. So it would be a different opportunity for him to try something new. And I thought it was pretty cool. 2 Mexicans clashing with each other, because we know, if you guys are not fans of Lucha Libre, then you guys are not you're missing out, but you got to watch those. But it was a fantastic match. Now, I think many of you would have thought Hijo Dr. Wagner Jr., who is a former champion, would have been the successful winner. But no, it was Alpha Wolf with a somewhat of a running spike crucifix that put away Wagner, and just like that, he win. However, because he win, he could actually eventually be in a conversation for a shot of the GHC Heavyweight Championship. So we'll get to that. So right now, as we speak, he only gets 2 points, and as for Wagner, 0. Next up, we head up to the A block. Now, speaking of Alpha Wolf, his brother Dragon Bane, he takes the center stage. He faces against Asushi Kodoge. Now, those who know this, I mentioned this in a news update, that Go Shiozaki, who was supposed to be on this tournament, had to back down due to an injury, and he named his replacement Asushi Kodoge. Now, those who are Noah fans would know Kodoge is a junior heavyweight competitor, but recently he has competed in heavyweight competition. If you guys haven't forgotten, he did a fantastic job during Tag League tournament, the World Tag League. Well, their Tag League tournament. That's something that we've seen. I think it was Victory Challenge. I'm not sure, but yes, he did a fantastic job. But however, how would he do against Dragon Bane? Well, I have to say Dragon Bane has much athleticism and flexibility. He was able to pick up the win when he applied a Poison Rana, and just like that, it was over. He gets 2 points, so he's also on the board, just like his brother. As for Kodoge, 0. Now back to B block, we have Tavion Heights making his Pro Wrestling Noah debut. Takes on Titus Alexander. Now, those who know Titus Alexander know he is not a WWE wrestler. He is a wrestler you may have seen in the independents. Mostly he works with a West Coast Pro. He has done a couple of Japanese tours recently, and this is one of them. So this is a perfect opportunity for him to make an impact, and that's exactly what he did. Now, you would have assumed because Tavion Heights is a collegiate wrestler and Olympian, you would have assumed that he would have picked up the win. No, Titus Alexander tried to apply a rolling German suplex, but kind of failed into it. I think he might have botched it. But nonetheless, he was the one who picked up the win, giving him 2 points. And I have to say he did a pretty good job on his first try in the N-1 victory. Now back to A block, we have, of course, Josh Briggs making his Noah debut, coming all the way from WWE NXT. He faces against Rohei Oiwa. Now, Rohei Oiwa, those who know this, his primary goal, he is planning to go back to New Japan, but there's one goal in mind that he wants. It's the GHC heavyweight title that his former mentor that he followed, Kaito Kiyomiya, but he has to go against a much tougher SOB, Josh Briggs, and that's exactly what happened. So Briggs actually brought the lariat from hell to him, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, adios. So he gets 2 points. Now back to B block, we have Yoshiki Inamari taking on Oka Zazaki. Now Oka Zazaki has been making a great impact since he made his debut, and not to mention, he has surprised everyone with his wins. Now, of course, Inamari, last time when he was in the N1 victory, he was not in a good position. He had the least points in the tournament. But, however, you would think that this would have been a much stronger method. No, but Oka Zazaki put him in a chokehold. He did not tap out to make it clear, everybody. The ref made the choice to stop, giving him, of course, Zazaki 2 points. So that's how it rolls. Next up, we have Jack Morris taking on Masa Kitamiya. Of course, Masa is a tough bastard, you probably would think. That's exactly what he would do. As for Jack Morris, I'm sure he's trying to get out of the funk that he was in. As you know, Jake Lee just basically abandoned everybody from GHC and just that. But it was the Diamond Senton by Kitamiya that put him away, giving him his first 2 points. So yes. Now, our semi-main event. This one is a very interesting one. It's a bit of a rematch from last year. Manabu Soya, who is back after being injured, he comes back with a new look, a new physique, faces against his old leader of Congo, of course, Keno. Now, last time these two chased, this was about the GHC heavyweight title, but Keno was the one who was able to prevail to hold on to it. But the real question is, does lightning strikes at the same time? Well, this is a different scenario, just to be clear. But Keno was able to pick up the win when he applied the professional foot stomp just like that, giving him his 2 points. Now, our main event, we have coming all the way from Dragon Gate, Luis Mante takes on the champion himself, Keito Kiyomiya. You would assume that this match was going to be interesting because Mante was the one who made a beeline straight to Kiyomiya before the match even started. However, it was Mante who picked up the win when he applied, a Tiger Driver, and just like that, it was over, pinning the champion. So that means he could actually eventually challenge him if he doesn't win the tournament. So we will see that. But however, he's giving the entire. But at the post match, he gave the entire Noah locker room on notice who he is, and also the Noah fan base on notice as well who he is. So we will see how things will progress with him. But as we are speaking, every winner, they got 2 points. We are now in the early stages of the N-1 victory. So we will see how things will go. So until then, we'll end things here and move on with our last and final thing, news updates. Okay, so welcome to our news update. So let's begin with upcoming events from the promotions themselves. Now, as you know, I mentioned on a news update during the development section, Hechiseto and Virus declared a challenge at Capital Collision against TMDK. Now, however, I wasn't too sure. Now, as you know, TMDK, I think they are double champions. You know what? Let me look it up just to be sure, because I don't want to feel like an idiot sometimes. Let me pull that up real quick. Yada, yada. Yes, so TMDK, more specifically Shane Hayes and Mikey Nichols, are both IWGP Heavyweight Tag Champions and the New Japan Strong Openweight Tag Team Champions. So it was official now that they will put the open weight tag team titles on the line against Hechiseto and Virus. So that's going to take place later on this month on at Capital Collision. Now, as you know, on August 31st, we have the NWA 76 event. A match have been announced for that. We have Baron Von Storm and Jack Stain take on Magic, Jake Dumas, and Zion. So that's pretty much it. 2 new shows have been announced for September. The first one is from Japanese promotion P.P.P. Tokyo. The name of the event is called Splash Carnival Banquet Liberation Front. This will take place on September 10th at Shinjuku Face. And then, of course, Deadlock Pro Wrestling has announced the 3rd annual Carolina Classic that will take place in Durham, North Carolina on the 15th of September. This one also will features the contract signing for the DPW World title. So don't know exactly much. I'm sure we'll be getting more information on that as well. Now for some interesting art developments, and here's one on fun facts coming for all of you. Here's what someone actually posted out, and I think this is interesting. This past week, on Friday, AEW Rampage has hit the mark up to 156 episodes. Now, here's something that's interesting. If you guys remember, back in WCW, there was another show called Thunder. That show lasted up to 156 episodes until it was shut down. So basically, AEW reached the mark and most likely will surpass that. So we'll see what happens, because I think people like to compare AEW and WCW together, but we'll see what happens. Now, many of you may have heard about this recently. Referees are now carrying cameras on their ears to see a better perspective of the ring. I gotta ask, do you guys, this is a good or a bad thing? I don't know. There was a scene where you can see Liv Morgan's behind. I don't know if some of you would think, oh, that's too perverted right there, but that's up to you guys. I don't know. I feel like, it feels like, I don't know how to say it, but yeah. But you guys tell me. Now, finally, Natsupoi has recently been talking. As you know, she is the new Wonder of Stardom champion. Um, this is what she said about after winning the belt. She's been carrying the belt ever since then. I can't help to love it. I feel like I have a new family member. The belt is poised, cute baby. I feel like I've become a mom. My first double crown in life, I was given a great momentum. It's Natsupoi's Summer of Revenge. We know that last year she had a great summer during the 5-star Grand Prix, but we'll see how it progresses. However, as you know, she has been criticizing recently Natsuko Tora. Now, those who know this, Natsuko Tora this year will not participate in this year's 5-star Grand Prix. I feel like she's not showing what a real champion should be. I think she's showing that she's not here to play by anybody's rules, but this is what Natsupoi said. I was looking forward to the red and white showdown. It's so a shame and really selfish. From now on, we need to aim higher as a company, but if the company's top champion is someone who does whatever she wants, then we can't show the world what's great about Stardom. She's true. I mean, we had that situation before with other look, guys, remember what happened with Brock Lesnar? Pardon my language. He was a piece of shit. I mean, he was the worst champion in the last few years. Not showing up only when it suits him, as a champion. It bothered me. And then we saw that a bit with Roman. But yeah, they need to show they are the top champion if you want to stand out to your company. And she's right. So there's that. But as the white champion, Natsupoi said she wants to make this belt at the top, championship of Stardom. And this is what she said. I will be the catalyst to show them how interesting and glittering the Stardom is to get them interesting. In terms of value of the belt, they need to think the white one shines brighter than the thing what can make a company a star. It's the white belt that Poi holds. So basically, as you probably would think, I think relates to what we saw about Natsuko, who's not appearing at all for the 5-star Grand Prix. She doesn't give a damn what the company wants. She doesn't care who's facing, but she just does whatever she wants. But Natsupoi does made a point. Now she has to shine even more. So hopefully that will put me paying attention. I wouldn't be surprised if anybody will not pay attention to the red belt. Not a lot of wrestlers challenge Micah, for the red belt. But we'll see what happens until then. But what do you guys think about Natsupoi? Was she right about Natsuko Tora being selfish, not appearing in the 5-star Grand Prix? Does she feels that she needs to elevate the white belt even more now that Natsuko Tora is devaluing the belt? Well, we'll just wait and see. But until then, we'll just end things here with our news updates and call it a day. Okay, well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode. So if you guys are really fans of Japanese wrestling, well, this is the episode just for you. Coming up, I haven't decided yet what I'm going to do. So as I always do, I'll just wing it. I was considering just maybe making the next episode all about the Yoshi wrestling. So if you guys are fans of that, we'll see how that rolls. But like I said, I'm just going to wing it. So from here on out, let's keep on moving forward. So I will see you guys on the next time. So I must bid all of you adieu. So goodbye. And have a nice day. Bang.